This is our objective, and other oil companies just like Indian Oil, got the city, HPCL, Mathura, Gas Authority got the city of Haridwar. So waste is nowadays, particularly in Indian perspective, it has become resource. You cannot throw it. That will be resource. If you throw it in your daily life, in your family life, in your society life, in your country life, definitely that you are wasting the wealth of the system. So you convert waste to the energy or any utility item. That is the motto. So again, let me recapitulate it. There are the 10 papers lined up. So we will fix the time. 10 to 15 minutes, okay, sir? 10 to 15 minutes and then 2 minutes question answer, and then we will move forward according, sir. Okay. So let me call with this. Let me start the session. The invite lecture by Dr. S. Venkatamohan. He is Principal Scientist, CSRI, Council of Scientific Industrial Research, Indian Institute of Chemical Technology, IICT, Hyderabad. So I request S. Venkatamohan.
Our work which we are doing on waste remediation, specifically on resource recovery, for past 15 years. So the title of my presentation I would like to put as Waste Energy Nexus Reengineering Remediation towards Bioeconomy. So the presentation I would like to first introduce why we have to take waste as a feedstock, and then I would like to discuss about waste remediation and how we can do resource recovery, and then I would like to briefly discuss about the re-engineering of remediation towards resource recovery. In this process, I would like to briefly present which on the 4 of the important process which we are doing in our laboratory. Some came to pilot stage, some are in demonstration stage, and finally I will end with some waste biorefinery models which we can take up. So before going into the presentation, I think everybody know, but just to introduce, I would like to say that we are dependent on fossil fuels right now. 86% of our energy requirements is right now from fossils. About 16% from global perspective, as from Indian perspective, we are using renewables. Still we have scope for going to renewables. As per the recent report from MNRE, when we see biomass, we have huge potential of about 3.6 gigawatts, but we are, 22 gigawatts, but we are only using 3.5 gigawatts. So we have significant scope. Not only energy, for all our needs, like particularly materials and chemicals, we are again dependent on fossil fuels. So we can say that our economy is basically linear economy, dependent on fossil fuels. So we have to search for alternative feedstock in the face of fossil fuels. So when we look into the waste aspect, particularly with respect to a project with European Union, the objective of project is to identify the waste which is available for energy generation or bio-based products. So when we look into Indian context, we have about 4 kinds of waste. The diverse waste which is available in huge quantity, but in the same place we don't have much of biomass to use for bio-based products or biofuel production. So among the 4 waste, municipal solid waste, we have huge quantity, about 60 million tons per year. The major advantage is we can use it for biological process because it has more than 50% of biodegradable nature. We have huge quantity of domestic sewage, after 30 billion liters per day is produced, and we also have very huge quantity of fecal sludge which is not visible, and industrial waste. So all these 4 has a huge potential to generate energy, or I can say bio-based products. But right now, according to recent report, there is 10% increment, particularly with respect to municipal solid waste because of our economic growth. And according to recent reports, only 2% of our waste to energy is being practiced in India. So why we have to take waste as a pre-feedstock? So when we, this is the spectrum of waste, basically liquid waste from different origins, domestic to industrial. I try to list out here. When we see all the wastewater parameters, particularly CO2, carbon, chemical oxygen demand, which represent organic matter. All the waste contains significant amount of organic matter, which will be a good substrate for the biocatalyst to convert into useful forms. Apart from carbon, we also have nitrogen and phosphorus, which are essential nutrients for bacterial activity or microalgal activity. So waste, as I can say, has a potential ingredients to make it as a feedstock for many of the applications, including biofuels as well as bio-based materials. When we talk about waste, basically we will go for treatment as because of the regulatory requirements. So basically, I would like to prefer to go for sustainable treatment. That's biological process, because biological process will not give any toxic material. So when we go for biological process, basically we can classify into anaerobic and aerobic. Aerobic process take oxygen and it's again energy intensive process. But anaerobic process is a versatile platform because it's a reductive process and will not take much of energy inputs. And everybody know about biomethanization. Methane is a very robust process. But alternatively, we can also regulate the process towards production of other biofuels such as hydrogen, or we can also generate electricity by different fuel cell, or we can produce materials such as bioplastics and ethanol and butanol using bacterial biocatalysts, or by using microalgae, by mixotrophic mode of operation, we can convert carbon in the form of waste from atmosphere into some useful forms, very high value products including biomass and biodiesel. So when we come to solid waste in Indian context, as I already told, about more than 50% is biodegradable in nature. And basically right now we are going for landfills, which is not environmentally sustainable, and a little bit is going for composting and some for incineration. But it has a huge potential because of its carbon content can be converted into chemicals, biofuels by going with acidogen fermentation by integrated approach. By way of converting carbon into useful products, the process will become sustainable and we can also reduce greenhouse gases. So when we move from left to right, the greenhouse emissions will reduce significantly and it will become green. So my perspective, our perspective with respect to waste is not a waste as our chairman told, and waste is a resource and waste is in a wrong place which has potential. So when we transform waste into useful forms, it will become sustainable waste management practice. And at present, the perspective from waste, energy and materials are in a single domain. Unlike the older perspective where waste and energy are different, we can convert waste into energy and chemicals, and we can convert treatment plants in future, not now, into biofactories which can treat wastewater or will remediate waste and produce chemicals and will have sustainable outlook. So this is the one side where I would like to show that all kinds of waste can be used by different biological processes, and we can produce different bio-based products which is feasible. Most of them are right now feasible, and I would like to discuss about 4 of the process, particularly with respect to acidogenesis. So as I told earlier, we are in the linear economy because we are using fossil fuels and we are taking the fossils and converting it into some materials or something, and then after usage we are throwing it. So linear economy, cradle to grave approach. But in future we have to convert into circular economy where the material from one process became the waste from one process became material for the secondary process. So we have to interlink in a circular approach so that we can produce many of the useful products so that we can reduce loads and fossil fuels. So when we go for circular economy, when we intervene with bio-based mechanism, then it will have still more sustainability. So we can convert waste into useful forms. So in future trends will be linear to circular economy to bioeconomy. So for going to circular economy or going to bioeconomy, we need some technologies. So I would like to briefly mention about 4 technologies because there is no time. The first one is again an anaerobic process, but not with biomethane. Anaerobic process is a very versatile platform. We can convert the process as required. Like you can see the red dotted lines in all the map where all these are bio-based products. By a little bit of converting the process or regulating the process, we can produce from fuels, chemicals to many of the products. So it's very versatile platform, and in bioeconomy, it will become the focal point. So here I would like to discuss about biohydrogen production from waste. As everybody knows that right now hydrogen production 96% is again coming from fossil fuels, but we have to search for alternative feedstock because hydrogen is a very green energy form and futuristic fuel. So converting process from chemical fossil waste to biohydrogen will have a sustainable outcome. And basically, biological process, there are four diverse processes, but I would like to only discuss about acidogenic process, again a fermentative process called as dark fermentation. When we take wastewater about 1 kg of COD, we will be able to produce about 450 liters of hydrogen. That is the theoretical yield. COD represents the organic load of wastewater. But here the important thing is we have to regulate the metabolic pathway of acidogenesis, and we have to terminate at acidogenic states so that methane production will not be there, so we can form hydrogen. So we are working in this aspect for 15 years in IACT. So we have tried with all the wastewater, and we encountered problem during upscaling with respect to. So it's not working, so I would like to close 2 minutes which I have to conclude it. So there are 4 technologies I would like to discuss. One is acidogenesis, hydrogen production from waste, and this process we are taking up to pilot scale. Right now it is in 10 meter cube capacity. In next 1 week we will be starting that with food waste, so that we will be able to produce 50,000 liters of hydrogen from 30 grams of COD per liter. So that is the first technology. I am not able to show the photographs because it's not working. So the second technology I would like to mention is about electrogenesis, where the same anaerobic process in a defined kinds of fuel cell we can convert into electricity, and then we can reuse the wastewater, and we can also improve the treatment efficiency. The third process I would like to discuss about photosynthesis process, which everybody know. We can use the carbon in the form of inorganic or like CO2 or carbon from wastewater along with nutrients. We can convert it into biomass, and that biomass also has a lot of potential where it can be either converted into lipids or some other forms like nutraceuticals. So it's one of the upcoming very rapidly coming technology, and we are demonstrating process at 200 liter capacity in our institute. The basic focal objective of our work is, the final objective is to integrate all these processes, starting with acidogenesis, then converting it into electricity, and finally with photosynthesis, so that we can close the loop, and then we can convert carbon in different cascading way to the useful bio-based products, and then we can reuse the wastewater. That is what we are doing in the lab, and we are proposing a number of models with the different wastewater, including domestic sewage, including municipal solid waste, so that we can close the loop and we can sustainably convert the products. So I am sorry because I am not able to show you the presentation, but thank you very much for your attention. I will be ready for
any question? 1, 2 questions maximum.
So what are the implications as far as greenhouse gas emissions are concerned? It is anaerobic
basically methane is a greenhouse gas. So we are converting to hydrogen. Hydrogen on combustion will not release any gas, only it will release water. So compared to methane production, it will have more sustainability.
Identify particular technology to convert waste to the city.
Yes, particularly ONGC, they are interested. Number of months back. Yes.
So use this contact.
Yes.
Thanks a lot. Any questions? Okay, then second president, Dr. Pandit Madhunde, he will speak about strategies for sustainable management of groundwater resources through aquifer mapping and in overexploited Bhalipur Mandal, Nizamabad district, Telangana state.
Results of the aquifer mapping studies which the Central Government Board is carrying out all over India under mapping program, the National Aquifer Mapping Program. So as part of that mapping program in Telangana as well as in Andhra Pradesh states, we wanted to cover the entire area which is the mappable area. So as part of that study, I have just presenting the case from the Bhalipur Mandal, which is one of the overexploited block of the Telangana. There the stage of ground development is more than around 100%. So this report we have almost we have finalized, and it has been presented in the state level coordination committee in front of the chief secretary, special chief secretary irrigation. So under this 12th plan, we wanted to cover the entire India, and not 12th plan, but the again 13th plan. So we have started, but the project is almost 2 years late. So we have started late. So I think by next plan we will finish the entire area. So by that time, after finishing that, I think everybody is the person who wanted to know the aquifer geometry of any area. So what is the aquifer disposition, what is their characteristics, what is the yield, what is the transmission, all the hydraulic properties also, and what is the quality of those aquifers. I think they will be knowing at the click of the button. Because this all the data we have integrated on GIS platform. All the data we have integrated on GIS platform, and we have prepared the different thematic maps using the different softwares, advanced software. So before going into the main problem, I wanted to just add for the youngsters who are likely to come into this professional. So I wanted to go tell why this overexploitation is taking place. If you just observe these slides, I think they are self-explanatory. So initially the urbanization as well as the irrigation facilities were not there, so groundwater was in plenty. As the urbanization increased and the agriculture increased, so the water levels have gone down, and presently more urbanization, so less water. So this was the situation prior to your green revolution in 1960s. So it means the Douglas zone which we used to observe. So that was giving the plenty of water. So and the farmer used to irrigate that water, tapping the Douglas to their irrigation fields. But later on the situation changed. The Douglas zone has gone dry. So the people started to go for the duckum borewells. Then they used to tap the deeper aquifer fracture. Then again that deeper fracture, that is the Douglas zone also has gone dry. Then the borewell technology which came into existence in 1980s. So with the help of those technology, so we have gone deeper and we started drilling further, and we used to tap the deeper fractures so as to irrigate the fields. And this is again the shallow fractures, they also got exhausted, and we are going further and further. So again, this is the situation, present scenario. So I think this is the future scenario, there will be no water in the fractures or also the stat. So that's why we have to go for the sustainable management. Because supply side is not there, so we have to go for the supply management. So this is the just source of irrigation in India. How the green revolution has started, you can see this. So how the borewell irrigation has increased, and the canal irrigation, I think since 1950 it has decreased as compared to the borewell irrigation. And almost our 8% of the agriculture, that GDP in Indian, in our economy, I think is contributed by the groundwater irrigation. And 80% of the domestic water need in rural areas as well as in urban areas, most of the 60% of the drinking water is made through groundwater. This is the growth in irrigation borewells in Nizamabad district. Now I will come to the Nizamabad. So the Nizamabad district also, more than 210,000 borewells are there, whereas during the year 2001 there were only 1.35 lakhs. So let's come to your study area. As the area is about 135 square kilometers, the major crops with having a population of about 42,500. Major crops, they are mainly the oilseeds, 39% during the Kharif season, paddy almost 23%. And during the Rabi season, paddy is the major cultivate, that is, it contributes about 21%. Then oilseeds. This is the rainfall. The normal rainfall is about 970, which is contributed by southwest monsoon contributes more. Then you know very well that 2014 and 2015 they are the deficit rainfall years all over AP as well as Telangana. So in that area also it was 26% deficit, and the major aquifer system is granite. This is the rainfall trend in Nizamabad district. You can see from the year 2000 how it has, I think it is from the year 2000. It has decreased, so rainfall is almost decreasing, showing the decreasing trend. And this right side slide which you are seeing, so this is the monthly rainfall with compared to average rainfall. This is the irrigation practices in the mandal. Almost 100% of the irrigation need is made through the groundwater. whereas the gross irrigated area is about 12,500 hectares and the net irrigated area is 7,800 hectares. So almost there are 5,664 borewells in that mandal. Mainly the borewells 5,400 and the dugwells almost they have gone dry, so there is no water in the dugwells, so that's why more borewells. Whereas the density of these borewells and dugwells is about 42 wells per square kilometer. It is a very heavy density, dense population of wells. And there are about 23 irrigation tanks, minor irrigation tanks, having a storage capacity of 1.37 MCM. And there are number of artificial recharge structures measures also they are adopted with 21 percolation tanks, 25 check dams and compounds of 180 numbers. And you can see this last slide, you can see that how the change in irrigation practices they have changed in the last 7 years. So there is a gradual increase in borewell irrigation and decrease in dugwells and canal irrigation. So then what are the major issues the CGW has identified in this mandals and what are the manifestations and what is the remedies? So almost out of 16 villages, almost 12 villages we are categorized overexploited. It is the stage of development more. It is the recharge is less than your draft is more than your annual recharge. And we have observed the declining trends in the last 10 years. Almost 3 years data I have studied, whereas the declining trends they were giving during pre-monsoon season up to 2.2 meter per year there was a decline, and post-monsoon season also there was 1.5 meter decline. Whereas the average water levels during the last 10 years is 15.2 meter during the pre-monsoon season before the onset of monsoon, and during the post-monsoon season 10.2. That is naturally it gets replenished during the post-monsoon season. If you observe this depth water level during the 2015, almost 28 meter was the maximum was the depth water level. During the 2016 pre-monsoon season it was 34. But if you observe this post-monsoon during the 2015 also the water levels have gone down below the pre-monsoon season. It means there was a less rainfall. As I was talking, there was a less rainfall of 26%. So that's why that during the post-monsoon season also the water levels have gone down. It should not be the case actually. But during the 14-15 there was a continuous drought with the less rainfall. So water levels during the post-monsoon season are deeper than the pre-monsoon season. And if you see the 2016, as soon as the rainfall as 60 year was the high rainfall year, so the whatever the desaturated aquifer was there, it got saturated. Means immediately it has taken the water and the water levels have come to 14 meters. Okay.
It's very
So
difficult.
these are some of the nitrate problem is there, chloride problem is also there, then sustainability, because sustainability of the borewells also now because the wells which used to yield good yields during the previous year, but now they are not yielding. So what are the reasons for declining water levels? Overexploitation, low rainfall, then deep water levels also the same reasons. Then sustainability reduction is because of the primary porosity, because the granite rocks they don't have the primary porosity, and low recharge. Then pollution is because anthropogenic is nitrate and chloride is geogenic, because the local geology is of that type, and the deep water levels which is also helping to enrichment of the chloride. Then high alkalinity also. These are the water level traits. Just if you see this red part, where is the point there? Okay. That circle which you are seeing yellow, that is your airport block. So there almost your trends are showing the falling trends during pre as well as post monsoon season. These are the groundwater resources. If you observe the resources, your net groundwater availability is almost equal to your draft. Draft is equal to your net groundwater availability. And we have calculated the in-storage resources also. It is the resources which we can use in the emergency periods. That is the resources below in your dynamic zone. Almost 0.03 MCM of 2 MCM resources are available. This is the village-wise resource map. The red circle, red point, that yellow circle, that is the area of Belpur Mandal. Then characterization of the weathered zone, because we identified two aquifer systems, that is one is the weathered zone and another is the fractured zone. So weathered zone is actually it is up to the depth of 23 meters. where what is the characteristic that is a more, it is having the high transmissivity up to 180 meter per square per day, transmissivity also there, and its specificity of about 2%. And this is the map, this is the weather zone map, and this is the fracture zone. This is the zone which is occurring below the weather depth. So here from this fracture zone it gets started from your weather zone. If weather zone is there is no water in the weather zone, then the deeper fracture also as the initial slides which you were seeing. So that's why this is the situation there. Yeah. So this is the about 3D what I was talking. We have generated the deeper disposition in 3 dimensional. So this is the 3-dimensional aquifer map. So these are some of the sections. If you travel from some section, some area, which is the right side, which you are seeing the some alignment is there. So it is the deeper fractures occur in the central part of the your section, and weathering is quite high in the this southwestern part, southeastern part. So then, what are the management strategies? How to manage these resources? Because there are resources very less. How to manage? There are actually basically we have identified 2 to 3 type of strategies. We have given that your supply side, demand side, then your institutional and regulatory measures. So what are the supply side measures? Actually, in this area, a lot of further scope is there for additional going further. It is the aquifer can take a lot of water because it is desaturated. So how much space is there? Up to 2,500 MCM space it can take. It is the volume, but whereas the recharge potential is about 50 MCM. 50 MCM of water it can take the aquifer. But in this area, the utilizable yield is that is your non-committed surplus runoff is just 3.74 MCM. It is up to that MCM of water only we can recharge from that mandal. So for this 3.74 MCM of water, we have given the plan. Almost just 2-3 minutes, I will say. So we have taken this undergoing work, whatever the state government of Telangana is doing the work in this area. So we have taken that work also into consideration. So what the state government they have done under Mission Raktya, almost all the tanks they have restored. This what they have done is that almost 6 MCM, 0.6 MCM of de-silting they have taken out. So if now last year 2016 almost all the tanks got filled. So with that almost 0.3 MCM of groundwater we thought that it might have gone into the ground. If you consider 50% of the recharge, so 0.3 MCM of water it has gone into the ground. So which will bring additional 50 hectares of irrigation land, ID crops, under ID crops. Then Mission Bhagirath also they are wanted to provide the drinking water needs to all the rural population as well as the urban population with 135 LPCD. So with that, I think they are bringing about 1.2 MCM of groundwater into surface water into the AC. It is our net result will be the saving from the groundwater because they will not be dependent on the groundwater because they are getting the drinking water needs from surface sources. With that, I think 1.2 MCM will be saved. And with that additional, we can go for 200 hectares of ID crops. Irrigation can be brought under irrigation. Then what is the proposed work? This is the already work is going on. So what is our proportion? So because lot of scope is there in that area, so you can take the again we can go for the artificial recharge structures. So supply side we have done that we have recommended about 69 artificial recharge structures in priority 1 area. It means that is the overexploited villages, 12 villages. Now those area we can go for 69 ERS structures with a cost of 5.4 crores. And with this will it recharge about 1.3 MCM to the groundwater because if you are spending 5.4 crores, they will recharge about 1.3 MCM in good monsoon rainfall. Then priority 2, that is other than your priority 1 area, that is they are the same areas. So there also we can go for 34 ERS with a cost of 2.7 crores. They will also it will also recharge to 0.58 MCM. Then we have recommended water conservation structures of 140 numbers. Because already they are there, some are there. So we have recommended 140 structures with a cost of 0.35 lakhs crores. Then what is the demand side measures? Now because we have to go for the demand side because supply side there is very less availability of water. So then we have to manage the resources from the demand side. So what is the stock water requirement? So under micro irrigation only 150 numbers of drip line sprinklers they have installed in that area. Irrigated about 166 hectares only. Whereas the gross irrigated area is quite high, but only 166 hectares they have brought under the irrigation, under micro irrigation. And considering 20%, last 2 slides. So we have proposed another 700 hectare of additional land can be brought under irrigation with a cost of 4.2 crores. And it will save over 1.4 MCM of groundwater and considering with your traditional practices. Then complete ban on paddy cultivation during the rabi season, because during rabi season also 20% of the irrigated area is under paddy. So we should completely ban the paddy cultivation during the rabi season. And that instead of that paddy crop should be grown. Then intermittent pumping 2 borewells, because should be there. The policy should be made that the 2 bores should not be pumped simultaneously, because the cone of depression between those 2 borers, they will intersect with each other. Then the water levels will again go down, and there will be the dryness of the borewell. Then regulated power supply in 2 spells, because if you regulate the power supply in 2 spells, morning and evening, so it will recoup your active power. Because if morning it will run for 3 hours, then it will stop. Then again the active power will be recouped. So like that it should be there. Then mandatory ARS in every government institution, it should be there, so that whatever the rainfall is falling on there, it should be recharged. Then what are the other measures? Then participatory groundwater management, it should be encouraged. Then proper sewage distribution, because the nitrate, lot of nitrate concentration also there, so the sewage system should be properly developed. Then supplementary calcium and phosphorus, because fluoride concentration is also quite high in some of the areas. So in those areas, the children who are below the ages of 14 years, which are more prone to this fluorosis problem, so they should be provided with the supplementary food. What is the effect of intervention? Expected cost about 12.65 crores and your net benefit about 4.8 MCM. So if you consider that either 4.8 MCM you can save the water, or you can bring the additional 950 hectares of irrigation, and then the rest change of, suppose if you are not bringing the additional area into irrigation, then there will be a net saving of 20%. It means your balance, it means the overexploited block will come down to your almost 80%, it will come down to your semi-critical block. So it is 80%, 20% net saving will be there. And what is the cost? Net cost will be about 3 paisa per liter, one-time cost, and it is yearly you will be getting the benefit. Here I have not included the cost of mission Bhagirath and mission Kartiya, because those figures were somewhat, I thought that I should not take because controversial figures. That's right, thank you. So, always have youth without love, no one without water. So let's save water. Thank you.
Nice presentation. So I think that if you have any questions during tea time, please ask Dr. Pandita. Huh? So you should have to squeeze that time. My task is to squeeze that time. So next speaker, may I request Ajit Khan. Professor Ajit Khan, please. His title of presentation is Managing Floods and Drought in the Context of Climate Change in the Case of Kurnool Drought. Okay. Ajit Khan, please. 10 minutes. If you cannot control your time, you cannot control your class.
Good afternoon, honorable chairpersons and participants. I am from School of Planning and Architecture, Jawaharlal Nehru Architecture and Fine Arts University. So I work there on contract basis as an assistant professor. So myself and Dr. S. Kumar sir have worked. Under his guidance, I have made some proposals at conceptual stage, at the conceptual level. So I am not a research scholar as such. I am not pursuing PhD. This is my first, paper which I am presenting and which I have wrote. Thank you. So giving an introduction to climate change is just like reinforcing the known fact. So I am just going through the slides. These are all the basics of, because I didn't know what's the stage which I have to present. So I just had some statistics from the literature. So these are the Arctic dead rate and then sea level change, etc. We all know what are the parameters of climate change. So, but my interest is of frequent floods and severe droughts. So especially a case of Kurnool town, so where in 2009 floods were witnessed. It was submerged in around 13 meters of water. Because of two reasons, there are many reasons behind the floods in Kurnool town, we all know. these are just introduction to floods. So my concentration is on riverine floods and urban local floods. But at a design interventions I have given at the town level only. I have proposed nearly 12 interventions, but from that only 3 I am showing here, presenting here. We all know about Kurnool town. It was 3 years headquarters for Andhra Pradesh, and it's the largest town. 2 rivers flow through Kurnool town. It is on the Tungabhadra river, which carrying capacity of Tungabhadra river is 2 lakh cusecs, and Handri river is around 50,000 cusecs of water flows through Handri river. During floods, these rivers split, and in 2009, like this location of Kurnool. In 2009, during floods, Tungabhadra received around 9 lakh cusecs, 4 lakhs, 9 lakhs cusecs of water instead of 4 lakhs, and Handri river received 2 lakhs cusecs of water in its normal carrying capacity, against its normal carrying capacity of 50,000 cusecs. Just to improve the urban river system, carrying capacity of the urban river system, this is the Kurnool town, and you can see its environs, the municipal limits, and the Handri river, Suddavagu and Vakiravagu, which join as Handri river, and the big river which is there is Tungabhadra river. So it's on the confluence of 2 rivers, and this is the old city and the urban sprawl, which is the new developments are coming beyond the river of Handri in this side, where Budhwarpeta and Jaharpuram slums are there, recent developments. And the old city is very old, where we have a fort, Kondarati Burju fort is there, and this is the land use map of Kurnool town. These are the 2 rivers, just photographs. So the needs, water supply needs of potable, municipal and domestic are supplied through Tungabhadra and the KC canal, which starts from Sunkesula barrage just upstream of the Tungabhadra river, just upstream of the town. They have constructed a Sunkesula barrage in 1860s by Dutch people. They made the KC canal pass through the Kurnool town, and then it connects the river basin, Penna river basin in Kadapa. So this is the Kondavarati Burju. Around that we have large open spaces which is flooded each year. And the next subsequent year, in 2009 it witnessed floods, and in 2010 and it was declared as a drought prone region. Just 1 month before the floods in 2009 September, it was declared as a drought prone region, and again in October, the next month, it was declared as a flood. So this is a climate anomaly in 1980 to 2013. We can see the change in the maximum temperature 34 to 35. 1 degree rise of temperature is seen in Kurnool town, and then rainy days from 59 to 74 rainy days. So this is evidence of like impact of climate change on the town. The hydrology, if we speak about, it has alluvial soils from past, like because it is in the curve Kurnool Kadapa basin, Kurnool Kadapa rock formations are there. The top soils are mostly red soils and black soils, black cotton soils, and with topped up with alluvial plains, which were accumulated from thousands of years. Underlying it, we have sandstone and limestone aquifers. Deep aquifers we have found at 150 meter to 650 meters below ground level. We have aquifer systems also. But right now, like in the flood season, the groundwater levels come up to 6 meters. But each year it's depleting, and over-exploitation of these groundwater resources is seen because of urbanization and dependency on only one source of water, that is Tungabhadra river. But when the Tungabhadra river, it dries up each year, only 6,000 cusecs of water is received in summer. Against its carrying capacity of 4 lakh cusecs, only 6,000 cusecs is received in summer. So there is a lot of scarcity of water. That's the reason they are getting it through water tanks and from different other sources. So when they are receiving 600 to 700 mm of rainfall each year, but that is drained out due to its hydrogeological condition because of the heavy surface runoff, and not recharging and replenishing of groundwater aquifers reservoirs adequately and sufficiently to meet the demand. And these are the backwaters from CSLM dam, which we can see because CSLM dams were closed to whatever reasons were there. So after that, backwaters reached till Kurnool town, and that's the reason receding of water even after 3 days was not seen in the Kurnool town during that floods. And Sunkesula barrage was collapsed, it breached, and many small, large and small man-made and artificial and natural water holding tanks were breached in Kurnool town. And this is map received by APWRTC 2009. The inundation plan of the Kurnool town, you can see heavy inundation. And these are the levels of inundation by Ramchandra Asam. Immediately after the floods, he has done the research. And then these are the submersion zones. So you can see 13 meters of inundation is seen. In square kilometers, it's also given. Damages due to floods, human loss and stock died, 6,915 farmers in the whole Kurnool district. And irrigation sources were damaged, requiring this much losses. And these animal husbandry losses and human losses. And then these are the few images, visuals of those floods. Damages to buildings and roads. This is the Kondarati Purju fort, which was transformed to an island. And in the next year, drought in 2010, the next year same the river, same which was in floods, it was seen dried up.